starting your own business, which is our next topic, which I know loads of people, like that's the end goal. Everyone wants to have a little side hustle, which Kate and I can talk a lot about.
It's not a little side hustle.
No, we have a company, we're registered, we pay VAT. No, don't don't earn that much. Yeah, so having a side hustle and like turning that side hustle into your own business, I think that's the goal for the majority of us event managers. So what we want to talk to the panel about is, Holly, obviously you have your own business, so how did you make the change from working for someone else to doing it for yourself?
So yeah, so it came about because I've been, same old story, overlooked for promotion, didn't feel valued within my business, the business I was working in, and decided to leave and freelance, which a lot of people do. Really didn't think I'd probably set up my own company, but in that year freelancing, observing different agencies within Manchester, it's obviously a much smaller mix, noticed that there was a bit of a niche in the market. There was actually a particular feeling that any female that owned a events agency had to be a bit of a, in quotes, ball breaker or bitch. And I just thought, oh, what if I wasn't? I could set up a business. And so there was two things. There was that side of things that I felt like quite passionate about, like why can't you be nice and work hard? Things that we've talked about. And then the other side was, again, a much smaller pool in Manchester, but I would look at an event, on social media and know who'd done it, like knew which agency had done it, and what I wanted to do was create events that you would never know make events had done because they were so bespoke to the client. So they were my two drivers, and that's the reason I decided to set up. I had absolutely no idea that 6 years later I'd have 16 staff, and I don't know, if I'd known that I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah. And that's all a year. The past year has been record growth for yourself and the team. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes and no. So basically, I'll give a few facts and figures because it's quite interesting for people that are wanting to start. So I started with absolutely no cash in the bank. In my head, I'd worked out £5,000, be a website, business cards, etc., etc. But was lucky enough that got a couple of clients on board straight away. And because we always invoiced before event, was able to maintain cash flow, which, I can answer any questions about this, but I just think is absolutely key. So in 6.5 years, we've got no credit cards, no overdraft, never had an overdraft, no debt, all the tax put away, many years of profits, as much profit as we could put away, so that whatever happens with the climate, everybody's getting paid for 6 months whether we take on. And that's been a massive driver as well, to build a solid business. With no investment, etc. So that, I can give more information on that, but that's really key. The growth side of things happened. So we started off where we were doing mainly corporate, but some private parties. But we were starting to get massive opportunities. Like we did this amazing event for Kellogg's in Dubai, but our branding didn't talk that story. And because we were still doing a bit of weddings and private parties and corporate, it was confusing for people. So we did a brand reposition in 2017, completely rebranded as a corporate agency, and we had phenomenal growth that year, the year before last. But what happened was we kind of grew before the infrastructure was ready, if that makes sense. And we were doing all these events, but probably grew a bit too quick. So last year took on a management team, Alex, who is the only guy in this and Philippa, who worked for Profs, and so we kind of have slowed on turnover this year, but only because we call it our infrastructure year, where we've built the business ready for growth. But where we stand at the moment is we've never had so much business on the books for the next 12 months. So, and you've got to be kind of mindful of that, not to, a good quote we used the other day in our conference is, don't fast forward into something you're not ready for, and don't shrink back into something that you've grown past. So, yeah, it's all about, it's patience, it's making, the right moves.
What made you take the jump?
Well, really, and I've told this story a few times, I had really bad mental health issues for 5 years, and back in, over 7 years ago, and it was a type of mental health issue that they said you would never fully recover from, but I have and had, and I've been 8.5 years completely free of it, as you know, with no medication. So kind of, I felt like I lost 5 years of my life really, and then the blinkers came off and I was like, right, okay. And I think when you've been through something like that, you'll have all been through not only mental health challenges, other challenges. When you've been through something and beat it, you become a bit fearless. So it's a bit like, well, if I've done that and I've changed my brain in that way, what else can I do? So that was kind of, I'd say, the driving force. So, you know, positivity can come out of, you know, mental health issues.